Do you believe that the dead can speak again? Or that an ancient curse can wait for centuries in a desolate village just for its next victim? Today, I will tell you a story from a place where the sunset doesn't just bring darkness, it brings an eternal terror. This is the story of the Curse of Willow Creek. The village was called Willow Creek, surrounded by a dense, suffocating forest. With only a handful of residents left, 3 years ago, a young man named Jacob arrived here. Jacob's father was Samuel, a man who spent his life obsessed with ancient artifacts. Before he died, Samuel left Jacob an old weathered map, a map that led him straight to this cursed village. When the villagers saw Jacob, they didn't welcome him with smiles. Their eyes were filled with a strange shivering fear, a warning that Jacob failed to understand at first. Jacob began staying in a decaying wooden cabin at the edge of the village. On his very first night, he felt something, a sound, like long fingernails scratching against the wooden walls. The next day, he found a dusty diary in an old shop. It was wrapped in human-like leather, and the moment he touched it, his palms turned ice cold. The shopkeeper warned him not to buy it, but Jacob saw symbols in the diary that matched his father's map perfectly. That night, he began to read. As he turned the pages, he saw ancient spells written in what looked like dried blood. The air around him grew heavy. Suddenly, he heard a very low whisper from the corner of the room, calling his name, Jacob. When he flashed his light, no one was there, but on the floor, he found a bundle of withered, black roses. As the night grew darker, the whispering became clearer. Jacob noticed the pages of the diary were turning all by themselves. One name kept appearing on every page: Ilara. The elders said Ilara was a powerful practitioner of black magic, burned alive by the villagers centuries ago. But before she died, she left a curse, promising she would return. Jacob looked into the mirror and froze. His own reflection began to distort. The face in the mirror wasn't his anymore. Its eyes were turning pitch black, and a hollow grin spread across its face. Jacob backed away in terror, but then the floor beneath him began to tremble. The entire house seemed to come alive. A thick, black liquid began to ooze from the wooden walls. Jacob tried to run, but the doors were slammed shut by an unseen force. He tried to scream, but it felt like his voice had been stolen. Suddenly, he saw a pale shadow standing in the middle of the room. It looked like an old woman with unnaturally long, jagged nails. She looked at Jacob and began to laugh, a demonic, soul-crushing laugh. She whispered, "Why have you returned, Samuel?" Jacob realized then the witch thought he was his father. His father must have been entangled in this curse decades ago. The diary was now glowing like fire, but it wasn't turning to ash. The witch began to drift toward him, slowly, Jacob reached into his bag and pulled out an old metallic talisman, something his father told him to never let go of. As soon as the talisman was revealed, the witch shrieked in agony. Jacob realized this was his only chance. But at that exact moment, the windows shattered into 1,000 pieces, and the room filled with a thick, suffocating black mist. From within the mist, dozens of dark shadows emerged. Boss. At that time, they surrounded him, closing in. Jacob ran through the darkness. He realized the witch wasn't alone. She was controlling the souls of everyone who had died in that village. He reached Ilara's ancient grave, deep in the forest. The diary said that to silence her forever, he had to destroy the black magic relic buried beneath her grave. Jacob began to dig frantically. Pause. He felt sharp claws scratching his back, tearing his skin, but he didn't stop. Deep in the earth, he found a glass box. Inside was a human heart, still beating. It was the source of Ilara's power. The moment Jacob smashed the glass box with a heavy stone, a terrifying scream echoed through the entire forest. As the witch and the shadows began to dissolve into smoke, the heavy black clouds parted, and the first light of dawn broke through. Jacob lay bleeding near the grave. Pause. He thought it was finally over. But when he looked at the talisman in his hand, it had turned into black ash. Jacob fled the village, but his peace never returned. After returning to the city, Jacob noticed something chilling. He could no longer see his reflection in any mirror, and whenever he is alone, he feels someone standing in the corner of his room. Every night, that same whisper crawls into his ear. Ilara is with you now. The relic was destroyed, but the witch's soul found a new home inside Jacob's body. Now, for those of you listening, do you know who is watching you from behind your screen right now? If you enjoyed this dark tale, please like the video and subscribe, because the darkness never truly leaves. Stay safe. The night is just beginning.